Good evening and welcome to a new edition of A Daily Debate. This evening we'll be debating the issue which captured headlines worldwide, and that is the U.S. elections. A new president-elect has been selected. The Americans have made their choice and selected Donald Trump as their upcoming president, or the 45th American president. With a distinguished panel this evening, we'll be delving into how will America appear after in Trump's leadership, and maybe more importantly, how will his foreign policy differ, if anything? Before we do so, an issue which captured headlines here locally, and that is in Egypt's continued effort to combat terrorism and those who embark and harbor it. A big operation was executed today, and a number of the terrorist brotherhood were arrested. It is supposedly this group aimed at creating or causing and enacting quite a number of acts within the coming few days on Egyptian soil. With us online to comment on this issue is Mr. Salah Abdullah, who's a security expert. Mr. Abdullah, can you hear us? Mr. Abdullah?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Can you just give us some details about today's operation?
Yes, of course, the Ministry of Internal Affairs is arresting a terrorist group who is trying to use 11/11 to invite the people for disturbance in the country. The people in Egypt has no relation to this invitation, and they didn't know who is the source of that invitation. And that's why they will fail in what they want. They want to destroy the stability and to cause a case of chaos in the society. But the people of Egypt will make this fail completely. The Ministry of Internal Affairs is doing well by catching this terrorist group, and I think there is other groups still underground, and by more efforts they will catch them, and they will stop their own evil aims. People of Egypt has no relation to what is going on 11/11, and I doubt that any citizen will go outside in that day for any pretending or anything like that. So it is a failure, or it is an invitation which has no basis and has no ground. It is only a kind of terrorist activity, and it will fail.
Sir, when you say it's part and parcel of this plan that is supposed to be enacted on November the 11th, or 11/11, indeed, most Egyptians, if not all, will not be falling into that trap. But is it only an issue which aims at hitting Egypt locally or on an international scale? We're bracing ourselves for a tourism season. We're bracing ourselves for investment opportunities. And since this channel is basically directed to Egyptians abroad and foreigners, is there any cause of... If I'm planning a vacation to Egypt, do I need to worry? If I'm planning some kind of a business investment in Egypt, is there any reason why I should be concerned?
Well, of course, it can have many motives or aims. Number one, an invitation like that, the outsiders who are supporting the terrorists can use it to give an idea that there is a case of non-stability in Egypt.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, 11/11 is coming after the result of the United States president election. So if Hillary Clinton succeeds, I think this can help in making a kind of pressure.
Hillary Clinton will not succeed anymore. The elections are over.
Yes.
The U.S. president-elect is Donald Trump now.
The president-elect now is Trump.
Yes.
That's why it has no effect. Thirdly, of course, as you said, that we are in the season of tourism. and they want to affect the tourism session. But because the Egyptian people will not accept that, and there will be no any Egyptians will go to any of this activity, that's why it is failed, and it will be more failure. The only thing needed is that to make a focus about the personnel who is doing that and to take them to the court. Because not every time we will allow some of the terrorists or some of those who are related to outsider groups or underground activity, illegal activity, to cause instability in the society.
Yes, Mr. Salah Abdallah, thank you very much for joining us on Daily Debate. And this evening, the upcoming shape and format of the United States after Donald Trump takes office for the beginning of 2017. Yesterday, after the results, the initial field electoral results were kind of announced. Both Trump and Clinton had a few words to say to their constituency, so to speak, and maybe one had a hard time taking it without a grain of salt, so to speak. Reactions from both candidates after the elections in this following report, and then continue our discussion.
Trump won the U.S. presidential election early this morning in a stunning victory that sent shockwaves around the world. The Republican took the key swing states of Florida, North Carolina, and Ohio early this morning as he marched towards the White House. Mr. Trump pledged that he would be president for all Americans in his New York victory speech. He said he was reaching out to the people who had not supported him to unify the country. Now it's the time to bind the wounds of division. He says that Democrats and Republicans, it's time to come together as one united people. He also said that he pledges to be president for all Americans, adding the forgotten men and women of the country who will no longer be forgotten. He said it was not a campaign but a movement that had won him the White House, comprised of all people of different backgrounds and beliefs. He also added victory had been tough. His political stuff is nasty and it's tough, according to him, while thanking his family. It was an extraordinary election night. Trump won some early East Coast states and did not look back. When he secured the key swing state of Florida, a clear path to the presidency was laid out. He went on to win Ohio and South Carolina. In the extraordinary development, Hillary Clinton did not initially concede the election, but then later called Trump to congratulate him on his victory. Trump offered generous words for his vanquished opponent, saying she had worked hard for many years and was owed a deep debt of gratitude. The crowd was respectful at the mention of Clinton. In a conciliatory speech, Trump added that they will get along with all other nations willing to get along with them. He also said they will deal fairly with everyone who seeks common ground, partnership, and conflict. He also said America will no longer settle for anything less than best, and we must reclaim our destiny. The Republicans surpassed expectations and confounded pollsters in Florida, where Clinton had been expected to win following a surge in Hispanic vote. Clinton's hopes of a swift victory faded as the Republican picked up a series of states early on and maintained his momentum. Financial markets around the world plummeted as votes for Trump sacked up. Trump's threats to rip up a free trade agreement with Mexico and tax money sent home by migrants to pay for building a wall on the southern U.S. border if elected president caused the peso to hit a record low. Nigel Farage, the leader of UKIP, described the result as bigger than Brexit, adding Trump's election will represent a massive result for Britain. He said that the UK would have a friend in the White House who will prioritize trade relations with the UK.
If you're a fighter, truly a fighter, then you get back up. You fight again.